This used to be the setup on my rig, my trusty old Logitech G923. It served me well. I thought at the time I couldn't get any better. Um, I loved the feedback that I got on it. It was well detailed, well rounded. Um, the only thing I really didn't like about it, I remember, was the sound when I was playing, especially when I bumped into like the curbs or a road or a wall. That little rumble you get. But other than that, I was pretty happy with it. I thought that there was no need to go get a direct wheel drive. I thought this met my needs perfectly. But then I met this guy and everything changed. Now, I'm not going to do a review on this wheel. There's plenty of reviews out there for this. What I would go over though is the challenges and some of the quirks using this wheel that I ran into that I had no idea, read nothing about online, that actually surprised me when I got it. I would try to explain some of these solutions to some of these problems I had, but I can tell you right now up front, if you can get past some of these quirks, this is a very good wheel. I would say that much. So for me, my setup is a little different. I have my cockpit in a separate room, and I have my office, which is where my desktop is as well, in a separate room, with one wall dividing both rooms right dead in the center. My setup ensures that I pretty much have to play through VR because my monitor is in another room, right? So, and we can get into the joys and benefits of playing through virtual reality when you're playing sim games. If you guys want to know more about that, just please drop a comment below. I can go over the details on how to set up and how to get optimal speeds and all that. But for now, let's continue in this video. So some of the challenges I went through includes me calibrating my pedals because my office and my cockpit are in two separate rooms. It made calibrating it really impossible. I literally had to remote into my PC virtually. Shout out to Virtual Desktop. I have a video about that if you want to check it out. I explain in detail how to set up. But yeah, I had to virtually remote into my PC through Virtual Desktop to complete the setup, and that was the only way it was going to work. So one of the more annoying and prevalent problems I've noticed with the Moza Pit software tool is the dreaded disconnected message you get, which I'm about to show you now. And when you launch the Pit Out software, you get this message telling you it's disconnected. The base is disconnected, the pedals disconnected, everything's disconnected. Um, this is one of the more annoying problems I've noticed. And the solution I've looked online is all over the place. And I'm happy to announce that I think I may have found the problem and the solution. So right off the bat, a couple of things you should try out right away if you're having problems with this. First is you make sure you take out the USB cable out of the USB you're plugged into and try another one. So more than likely, maybe you're plugged into a USB 2.0 slot. If you have a USB 3.0, 3.12, plug into that instead. It looks like, at least from my experience, it looks like plugged into a USB 3.0 USB slot is more reliable and keeps the connection steady. So, yes, I would suggest to try unplugging the USB slots on the back of your computer and try a different USB slot. Another thing to try would be to power off the base and turn it back on. That usually would get the base to come back up and show that it's connected, um, like this. But what happens if it keeps getting disconnected every so often? What happens if you do that, it works, and then maybe a couple hours later, it disconnects again? Well, this is what you could try. So what you want to do is you want to go into your device manager. I'm going to start menu. and go to your HID, your human interface devices, and open it up. You want to look to see if you find the Moza connected there, right? So I can see that it's connected in here, but I'm not sure which of these inputs is the Moza wheelset using. So the challenge would be to find out which of these USB input devices is the Moza using. So to do that, what you need to do is you need to go into computer management. You go into your device manager, go to view, set it to the devices by container, and then scroll down to where you have your Moza R5. Open it up. This tells you exactly which one is the one using. So this USB device is exactly the one that's being used by Moza wheel. So you double click on it and you go to power management. So more than likely you would have this checked. Allow the computer to turn off this device to save power. Go ahead and uncheck it. Just uncheck it, click OK, and that should be the fix. I've had mine checked off for the last, I want to say 5 days, and it's not gone off anymore since I unchecked that. Prior to that, every time my computer went to sleep, it'll be disconnected. So I think that may have been the solution to the problem. So guys, the first thing you would want to do is you want to go to start, go to run, and type this in, joy.cpl. Click OK. That should bring up your controller configuration menu. You should see Moza R5, R9, 16, 21, whatever you have, or whatever controller you have. But this is specifically for the Moza R5. I'm demonstrating right now. You want to go to properties. And so this is the important part. So you want to make sure in your access menu, you want to make sure that the cross that's you see right there in the middle, going from left to right, you want to make sure that that cross hits both boundaries, left and right. So I'm going to rotate the wheel all the way to the left as far as I can to the maximum. Make sure when it hits the maximum, as far as you can go to the left, it's actually hitting that wall. And then the same thing on the right side too. You want to make sure that it's actually hitting that wall to the right. That's how you know it's properly configured. Before I did this properly, it was all over the place. Like, it'll be maybe on the left side, it'll go, a couple of tilts, and you're already hitting the wall. And then to get to the right, you gotta, keep scrolling. It wasn't like this. So you want to make sure that this is correct. Extreme both sides, hit the wall, and then you're good. And then you want to make sure also that when you rotate it back, a 360 and a half, that it's right in the middle, like this. If it's not, then you want to go into settings, and then you want to click on calibrate. Now I don't want to calibrate now because I just did mine recently, and I don't want to screw it up because it's perfectly fine the way it is right now. So I'm a little bit chicken to want to hit that, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You just go through the process, go through the procedure, and you should be good. Okay, click OK. So once that's all taken care of, the next thing you'd want to do is you want to go into your PIT software tool as well. This is really important. I don't know why this isn't said so much on the Moza site. Maybe it is. I didn't see it. But you want to make sure you calibrate your pedals. So all you have to do is come right here to pedals and hit calibrate. And then you just press, you start calibration, then you fully press down as far as you can go, let go, and let the countdown finish. And that's it. Calibration's finished. You scroll up, you can see it showcasing 0 to 100. Same thing with your brakes. You start calibration, hit it all the way as far as you can, let go, let the countdown finish, and that should be it. You want to come up, check it, make sure it looks good, and that should be it. Okay guys, so before we start, just wanted to make sure you guys can see. So you want to make sure that I pause the game right before it starts, just so I can demonstrate this to you. This is part of what I was trying to explain. So you want to make sure that in the game, that the correlation between what's happening in the game with the real world is exact. So the steering wheel right now, I'm holding it straight, and it looks straight in the game. When I slowly tilt it to the left, it needs to be exactly as it shows, as you're doing it. The exact same thing on both sides. You see it when I scroll to the right as well? It's an exact replica of what's happened. It's not exaggerated in any way. If you don't have this properly configured, what would happen well, at least with me, what was happening was when I go like this, in the real world, in the game, it'll go like 2 times, like 360 twice already, you know? Or this side too. If you go like this to the right, it'll spin around twice instead of it going, you know, 1-on-1 as what you're seeing right now. So this is how you know you've properly configured the game, and this would go a long way helping you, you know, not fall into traps of oversteering and spinning and those type of things. I've had so many problems with that, not knowing that it was all related to me not properly configuring the wheel. So yeah, you want to make sure that this is looking good inside the game, and then you should be able to play the game fine. Okay, let's resume. Oh, not a good start. So that's part of the beauty of having a direct wheel drive is, you know, the resistance you feel on the wheel. You know, prior to me having this Moza wheel, R5 wheel, I had the Logitech G923, and obviously this has better feedback than that. I think the feedback on the G923 was maybe 3 millimeters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. This one has 5.5, but the detail you feel is beyond just having 5 millimeters. Some of the things I didn't know I even noticed is the resistance on the wheel, right? Like when you're making a turn to your left, right, the resistance you feel on the wheel, I didn't get that with the Logitech G923, and I didn't know I was missing it, you know? It's hard to explain. It feels kind of like when you're driving a car with low power steering fluid, right? It feels a little stiff to turn, you know, a little resistance, but it returns back to the center once you know, relent a little bit. You know, it feels natural. It feels like how it feels in real life, you know. And I didn't get that with the G923. Yeah, it had decent feedback, you know, but this gives you more than that, you know. You know, I can actually feel the floor better when I drive. And I know it's only 5.5 newton meters, and you know, It feels like it's not a lot, but coming from Logitech, it definitely feels substantial. I honestly, oh crap. I really believe this is all you really should need, at least for now, is this 5.5 nanometers is all you need to enjoy the game. Gives you everything you need. See, I'm not an expert in race simulation games. I'm not going to pretend to be. I just enjoy the experience, especially on the VR headset. You know, the immersion you feel when you're driving. It's almost second to none. I can't think of any other VR experience that feels this invigorating and, you know, immersive and fun. And so while I want to be better at playing sim racing games, I want to get better at it. But for now, I'm just a simple, easy layman sim player, I guess. I don't understand, you know, the cars as much. I don't understand the tracks. I don't understand the rules. I want to understand it, but for now I don't. And you know, I'm just trying to showcase what it's like playing the game on Moza Disconnect. And all I have right now is just the excitement and the fun in playing the game. I don't have anything else. I remember I used to like oversteer these corners back when I had the G923, and now I don't so much anymore. Oh, race over. Okay, yeah, I guess I only had 2 laps on this one. So, if you're hesitant, if you're thinking about getting it, I'll say, yeah, please. If you have the money, absolutely get it. Don't be on the fence. It does make a difference. You know, obviously, when I had the Logitech G923, the only thing I didn't really like about it back then was the noise, right? I thought it made a lot of noise when I was running into the grass or the bump or, you know, into a wall. It would rattle, make that noise, especially when you're playing at night, you know. But even not at night, you know, daytime playing, makes that noise. So I thought upgrading to a direct wheel drive would make a difference and, you know, I would enjoy my gameplay better, if just for the noise reason. But man, it's a lot more than just that. It's a lot more than just the noise. You know, it's the feel, it's the realism, it's the it's the, you know, the accuracy. You know. I really don't. I don't think I care much for the R9 and the R16s and 21. I really feel like this R5 would suffice me for a long time, maybe even forever, right? Because I don't want it to be where the feedback is so strong that it's it feels stronger than real life, you know. Now I've never been I've never been a race driver. I've never been you know, a R1 racer or and I probably never would be. So I don't know what it's like to be a real racer, but at the same time, I feel like, you know, if I get something, you know, 2, 3 times more powerful than this, it might be overkill. That's how I feel, at least. So I feel like this is plenty. This is definitely plenty. Anyways, all right, guys. I think I have shown what I wanted to show on this. Oh, and another thing I wanted to bring up with this is, so I am able to navigate the menu with this Moza wheel right now because I have a keyboard mapper, right? That's mapped my keyboard to the controls of this wheel. Unfortunately, Moza, or maybe it's the developer of Automobilista 2 didn't include the drivers to this Moza wheel into their game, so you're not able to control your menu off this wheel. So the only way you can do this is to map your keyboard controllers onto the wheel, right? And so I'm hoping that when the version 1.6 comes out, then hopefully by then, you know, they'll have the drivers incorporated into the game so that you could control the menu and not have to worry about mapping, you know, keyboards to your wheel pads. But for now, that's what you need to do to control the menu. I wish I had known. I didn't notice. I didn't read about it till I bought the game, or till I bought the wheel, let me say. So this is something else you guys should be aware of. That this is only the only game I'm aware of that does this. I think Assetto Corsa, you could control the menu from within, you know, from the wheel. You don't need to map your keyboard to it. But these are the only two games I have. It's Automobilista 2 and Assetto Corsa. I'm not pronouncing it right. I know it's Assetto Compiano, I think. I'm sorry, I butchered the name. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Those are the only two racing games I have, and I know the controller works on that, but not this one. So, okay.